layer ones perform very well. I mean, there's two arguments, right? There's layer ones do extremely well. Pulse is by the day getting better and better. I think it will get even better once this stuff is sorted out with the SEC, with Richard. And we're closer and closer to sacrifice price. I think we need a few more fiat on ramps. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, things can change with that. I don't think 100x from the very bottom is a bad call. Some people might say otherwise, but that would be a 30x from the sacrifice price. I think I've said it on the video before, but again, I'm fairly conservative because it can run even more than that, right? Layer ones have done that in the past, a lot of the big layer ones as well. And we look at gold key stats for the 6-month mark, astronomical so far. So
I think that in all seriousness, there's going to be such pressure built up to that 1/10 of a penny for Pulsechain that we're all going to be just steeped in euphoria at that point. Once we break through that, irregardless of any SEC case, because I believe that the SEC case won't even be addressed in its entirety if they're going to play it out for at least 2 years to come. I think that it's going to be drawn out, and the remnants of Gary Gensler, if he's actually going to resign and move on, great. But if not, he's got some low-level squirt who's going to try to make a name for himself and bring Richard Hart to justice. But he's not going to have the facts on his side. Even still, the way that the U.S. judicial system grinds so smoothly and slowly, it'll be after the bull market anyway when this thing gets resolved. I don't think Richard would settle because settling or paying penalties didn't really get him a lot of mileage. Last time he did that for $400, it labeled him a scammer for like the duration of his life. So why would he settle now? He wants to see justice be handed out with on paper in black and white, saying that there was no fraud to this whole thing. So I would say that the market doesn't give a shit about the SEC claims against Richard. It's only going to boost the next cycle after this. It'll be in the downturn trough that we wave that paper at all the haters that still exist in the next down market, and it won't have anything to do with the 1/10 to 3/10 of a penny that I'm thinking we're going to make.
And Brandon, what do you think? Right, I know for sure Brandon has theorized how he thinks Richard's going to move and how it's going to go, and he's going to pull liquidity or some type of situation that's going to happen where people will exit and then he's going to pump it or do something. Not that he's in control of anything, but Brandon, what's your vision on all this? We know you've thought of this pretty well in depth, and you've got something. What is it?
So I've said this from the start. I said with the murder scene that happened during the bear market when all these centralized exchanges got destroyed, I said that people are going to be searching for a place that they can put their money that they can trust. A lot of centralized exchanges got nuked. And I also said that these influencers with really high follower counts are going to take an honest look at Pulsechain, as evidenced by kind of what we saw with Altcoin Daily, basically saying, what's going to be the next Cardano? And he says Pulsechain. He says, regardless of what you think about Richard Hart, these are the facts about Pulsechain. These are the numbers right now. And that dude has 1.5 million followers. A lot of people are going to follow suit. I think that Pulsechain has less competition than most projects did 2-3 years ago. And with that said, if I look at something like Phantom, which did over 1,000x, I certainly think Pulsechain could do 1,000x or more. Especially with we've got 2x, 3x the amount of money that's coming in 2024 and 2025 by all estimates in terms of Web3. I think Pulsechain will be on the map. Yep.
Isn't 1,000x like a 10x from the very bottom or something already, or where it was?
Yeah. I'm measuring, just to be clear, I measured Phantom from the bottom before. I'm measuring this from the bottom.
So I think that's important when you say we're going to go up 1,000x, right, from the current where the Pulse was at its bottom. That's only a 10x. Am I right on that? Right, it's something like that. So that's a very important metric to people to understand.
I don't think Is that the case? If that's the case, my mind's blown, but let's take it. So 4 zeros and a 2, 1000x is quite a bit higher. I mean, 1000x is, let's see here.
No, it's like
Yeah.
100. It would be a 400x because you have the 4.
Yeah, about a 4 or 500x.
Or like the
Yeah,
3
that
3
would.
or whatever. It would be like,
Okay.
it would be like 300, 400x. But
Yeah.
you know, you get. I would say we're gonna get by 90K by like February. We should, if it's on its same route as what it's doing in the last time. So the last time it took 1,000 days from the bottom to the top, double top. So 1,000 days would be in 2026, I think. So we're still in it. We'd be in 2026 or 20. I think at the end of 2025, and I think we can go up to like 225K. That's another 6. That's another 13x. So usually, if we can guess that it's gonna do less x's than it did before, because that's what it's been doing, right? Because that's the S curve. So maybe a 13, 12, 11x. So I would say the most it could do is maybe a 225,000. Sounds reasonable, because once it hits 50K, you have to understand, like, everyone's going to put it on their sheet. Like, at 150K Bitcoin, everyone's going to be putting it on their sheet. So it's going to be bought for no reason. So we could reach $225,000 easily.
Wait, you just said that. Wait, I thought we were talking about Pulse, but you think that Bitcoin's going to go up to 225,000?
Yeah, I could do that until 2026. Yeah, reach up to 90. Like, I'm estimating due to my triangles, but I think it could hit a 90K easily. It's on a linear trajectory to hit 90K before July of next year. So
If we do think the price appreciation on Pulse is going to be fairly high in this cycle, or coming into the bull run, you know, how many X's do you think it does compared to, let's take ETH, for example? Does ETH do 10, 15, 20K next bull? In comparison, Pulse may do more than that. And that was kind of the argument I was making a little bit. Obviously, playing a little bit of devil's advocate on, you know, to cause some stir and engagement. But yeah, that's my general viewpoint. Is most of the liquidity is tied to Pulse. If we believe in liquidity bonding, then Pulse is likely to outperform ETH in the next bull run, and then we'll probably see higher price appreciation on that one side.
we've never really took into consideration half of the stuff that's occurring that we never knew would occur. So there's a lot of leeway and a lot of statistics for like different ways of it going. So like, would EHEX or PHEX do better? Well, by the looks of things, is like it's easily manipulative. So like right now, everything is at the mercy of Pulse, to the point where it's like, why aren't we doing that with Pulsex? Like, it makes no sense. Like, I think like the way we're treating Pulsex is like, imagine if someone just creates and forks Pulsex and makes the buy and burn at 0.3%, just full fees straight into buy and burn of Hex. Not even burn, just buy. So like, I don't know how or what people are doing, but they're doing everything wrong. No one's siphoning liquidity from where it's valuable. No one's creating a value less intrinsic to something that you don't want the price to be turned down. You want the ratios to be affected more than, like, that's what we've learned in the Tang Gang. We've understood the liquidity. We understood that when you take other coins not paired to something that's valuable, well, whatever is valuable and it's paired to, then you get a value due to its ratio. So that's what we're learning, or what people didn't learn on Pulsechain, right? It's like, why do you have the most liquid pair on Pulsechain and Pulsex, but no one's creating liquidity with Pulsex? It's hilarious. Buy and burns out of our yin yang, and no one's utilizing it, but people would rather pair it to something that they're dumping, right? I don't think $450 million was enough for them to say, yeah, I think we should stop giving them this value. But it's okay, right?
Do you ever think that yield is going to be a big draw to one side or the other?
No, because you could just create the yield by bringing opportunity, right? The only reason why we would even have yield is opportunity, right? If there's no opportunity, there's no way we're getting yield. So it comes intrinsically, right? It's I think it's logic saying like, well, the reason why people are buying is because there's opportunity. So when I look at like what we can create, like, obviously if there's nothing and the liquidity is very minimal, then it's very hard to see the benefits. But if we were to have organically created a way where it's like, give the big players their piece of the pie, and also the other people have two options to go on, we would be easily bringing people into Pulsechain. Why? We'll buy Pulsechain on ETH. There's no need to dumb it down. It's not about dumbing it down. You don't explain to someone how the engine works in order for them to buy a car. I always found that technique of what we do to bring in people is very, why aren't we bringing the fight to them if they want to fight us? Like, it makes no sense. If we know we're going to win the fight, bring the fight to them. That's what usually people do. The same thing for that. It's like if I'm just trying to sell something, I don't understand why I wouldn't make it easier for them. I want to make it harder. And I think we're making it harder by saying, hey, you're going to have to do this, but then we're giving you this option and this. So I don't think we're really going to grow. And you can see it by the way people have siphoned the energy, the liquidity. We're at $6 million in a pool. We've lost more than we've lost as much as what the token dropped. So is it because people are bullish or are bearish on Pulsechain? I don't think so. The fucking value got siphoned. Not even us that fucking dropped the price. It's the people that took out the value. So where did it go? I don't know. I think we're doing it all wrong because we could have been providing liquidity somewhere where it already was valuable and siphoning that energy into Pulsechain, and that would have been much more beneficial because now we would have stuff in Pulsechain that wouldn't leave. So I think we would have had double or triple the amount right now, and we'd be still double the price, triple the price of what we're at now in Pulse. So it'd be better for everyone. And I don't know why people are not doing it. It's very weird. I even told KDP, I'm like, well, why would someone make a pool so liquid to not utilize it? Like, who's utilizing Pulse Hex? It's like every buy and burn is just giving fees to people with Rat Pulse, which is like, what the validation is not enough.
Well, I think a lot of the things in crypto have become too complicated, right? Like, if we're going to bring in a bunch of new people, like, there's so many barriers to entrance. And with DeFi, you got to click this button, you got to click that button, and people can't sit at their computers or have, like, onboards don't have that knowledge.
I don't even know if Hex will survive on Ethereum because of Richard. He's made several tweets. Like, I think he is going to concentrate on Pulsechain Hex. He's done with Ethereum. He's pissed at Ethereum. He can let Hex on Ethereum just do what it does, but I don't think he's going to help it at all.
I represent the second largest eHex liquidity provider right now. Okay,
That's fine.
but I can tell you exactly what is going on there. There's no bullshit. His friends, they're not even participating right now. They're not doing shit on anything. They're watching what we're doing.
Okay.
We had a new guy come in called Alex, right?
Look at the tweet up top.
Okay, I'll read it. Everyone's like going, oh, EHEX or PHEX is going to do this for this reason. You can't predict this shit. The only way one chain is going to beat the other chain is through a new market participant coming in to play the game. We had Alex a few months ago. So Victor and I, we were ready to play the liquidity providing game, and he beat us the market. We were chasing after him. He became the number one liquidity provider. He even went on to Matty Allen and shit. Matty Allen, they should have been more wise. They were so excited that new Hex was coming along, and he basically pumped and dumped Hex. He was clever, but still, we're 50% up from where we were. What I'm saying to you is, like, and then P-Hex, yes, had a premium because Hexicans prefer that one, because they think all the Hexicans think Pulse is going to pump, but they forgot the price of the T-share rate. And that's what you should really be learning. With Hex, you're buying the T-share rate. So if you're not putting in like small amounts of money, you're going for the T-share rate. So as much as I'm a critic right now of Pulsechain, I think Superstake Hex, for example, could launch and copy, and I'd encourage them to do it onto eHex, onto Ethereum side, because they've just answered one of the big problems we've just discussed tonight. We can't get small hexagons into the Ethereum side, but the Ethereum side is going to be our face, our public face, what everyone is going to judge us by. I think the Pulse chain is going to be a longer term thing. It may not do what we expect in the first bull run, but in the second bull run, it will. But I think people have to remember eHex is still our premier project, which most of the world will judge us by.
Well, I just looked up the DeFi Llama research, and on a positive note, Pulsechain does have total value locked up at 183 million, which isn't bad. I mean, base is at 285. So, I mean, it's not all terrible, but the narrative of trying to compare Pulsechain to Ethereum and just talk about fees every day, I mean, that's not really the right approach. And that's just my 2 cents.
So what in your idea? So I trade, I buy, whatever. It doesn't matter. I transact on both chains, and I hate Ethereum because I don't like paying the fee. That's my personal preference and opinion about fees, right? So yeah, I'm gonna say fuck Ethereum, and that's how I feel about it because I'm tired of paying the fees.
Are you rich? Are you rich?
Yeah, that's like everyone defines that.
Listen, guys, let's face the reality. We've just dropped down from a top 10 chain to traffic down to below 10, guys. We're wrecked. We've got no money. you are saying, yes, we prefer this because we're fucking broke.
I didn't say we. I said me,
Okay, but what I'm saying, generally as a community, we're broke, right? We're broke.
I
We're
don't know. I
down.
can't speak for anyone but myself,
So
and I don't like to pay Ethereum
I'm
fee.
sorry to
But
be
that's
rude,
just me.
but what I'm saying, you're worried. You said you're worried about the gas fee. What I'm trying to say is 3% of people are in crypto. 3% of those people are in DeFi, and only, let's say, 1 in 14 of those 3%, from that 3%, are actually even aware of Pulsechain, right? And most of those people, our target audience at the moment that have some participation in crypto, are wrecked. They've got no more money. The economy's looking like shit. All our businesses are going down. We're waiting for a hyperinflationary market in the next year, hoping that and having to bring new money in. So we have to focus as a community on how do we streamline through marketing and technology to bring that new money in. And once they come in, direct them, I would say, straight to Hex on both chains. Buy the Hex, buy the Hex, buy the Hex, buy the Hex. And we follow Richard Hart, we promote Hex, and then we all pair our tokens with Hex. I think that's the winning strategy.
Well, do you think the SEC case brings awareness into Hex and Pulse, or is it just tarnished and wait until the outcome?
I think we have to operate like it doesn't exist. It's the wave 2 of gatekeeping. We had the wave 1 of gatekeeping. This is the second wave of gatekeeping. And as gatekeeping increases on your product, there's a reason for it. Even Richard Hart himself was a fan of Pulse Doge when we had that token. A lot of Hexicans were bullish on Pulse Doge, but then as soon as we introduced Pulse Bitcoin with the ASIC mining having a higher rate than Hex rewards, then we became an enemy. So I would say the Hex community just needs to fucking ignore, keep on trucking, don't answer any of their emails, do not participate. And I think Richard Hart will do this. I think Richard Hart will just not answer anything. He'll move around, ignore. Wait for the inflationary market to come back. Wait for them to start pumping and printing money. Wait for the instability of the world to occur. And I think by the end of 2024, we will be in a really good market alongside gold. I think we'll start to pump. I think it's that simple, guys. Stop worrying about all the kind of top level shit because they can't shut us down. All we have to focus on is making money ourselves. And how do we do that in our community? By streamline. I say we streamline. At the moment, we're all making losses because we're all focusing on different tokens. So we can't stop new shitcoins coming out every week. We can't stop everyone investing in all these different tokens. But what we can do as a community is say, hey guys, let's start pairing with PHEX, with EHEX, and then let's build up liquidity between the two tokens to get price parity. I think that's what Richard Hart wants. And then we remove the liquidity from EHEX with USDC, and we pair it with Ethereum, and that's the winning argument. That's how we can organize as a community, even though our economic energy is split, back into the RH token and pump. Because this PLS thing is a fucking dream. I'm sorry, people need to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I think you might be right. I've had the same thought myself that Hex could outperform PLS. So I do agree with you there.
It's crazy that I'm a year late. I remember 6 months before the fucking Hex launch, the PLS launch, and it's like I can't believe I'm trying to persuade Hexicans that Hex is the premier product. It's actually crazy.
I mean, I've always been kind of anti-Richard Hart, but I just consider Pulsechain and Hex as the same. But that's just me.
They're not the same, though. They're not the same. People need to get out their head that Pulse is a pumpamental token. It's not. It's not designed to be that.
I mean, there are, like, if you look at EHEX, right, a lot of the people that really dumped the OGs, they're completely out of Hex on Ethereum, and some of them on Pulse Chain too, right? But they still just have massive bags of PLS as well.
Yeah, anyone that has a large bag of PLS is taking a defensive position. That's basically what it is. It's our form of a stable token.
And then also PLS, you want to have PLS be kind of a stable price because gas fees could start to get exorbitant if you had massive PLS price appreciation.
No, you don't need PLS to be stable. Yes, it can do fucking 50x. I'm not saying it won't, but what I'm trying to say to you is you don't want it to do 1000x, 100x. You want it to be like Ethereum,
Yeah.
Yes, you're keeping, let's say, 5% of your Pulsechain wallet in PLS, but it's literally it's just to pay gas. It's like to keep it there, thinking that asset, when you've got so much sell pressure, you had $2 billion invested. Come on, man, and half those people are just not interested anymore.
Well, the thing I've been kind of wondering is Richard's wallet, the HOA, I guess it's referred as. after the SEC verdict, good or bad, is he going to be burning the HOA, or is he just going to be buying like a madman on the open market to get the token prices up?
We don't know. Can't answer that. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the court case plays out. That's going to be probably better than any movie.
There is no case against RH. I heard y'all talking earlier. There's just absolutely no case. If you've read the documents, they haven't linked him to any wallet, and they haven't done any chain analysis. There's just like some John Doe that said he took money from the community and went on a shopping spree. It's just no basis, like nothing to support any allegations. So, and if he is found guilty, his name isn't attached to any wallet. Like I said, it's not like Binance or XRP or SafeMoon. They were like corporations, LLCs with like a disclosed wallet, doxed wallet.